like I said before, I just, I thank God every day that I get a chance to coach at a place like Wake and lead young men like the way we have them. And, every time that our back was against the wall this year, we came up and we responded. And once again, we had to Louisville, had to get that one, and NC State. And it just seems like every time we're in that position, and we knew what was at stake. And there was, we made it like a playoff game, that we had to get this one to continue our season, and probably played our best game of the year. And couldn't be more proud. Obviously the turnovers were huge. Jamie played well. Cade, the offensive line, defense had their best game of the year. Our kids rose up and did what they had to do when they had to do it. So it's a very satisfying win for us.
It's about the most complete performance, not only this year, but overall in your tenure?
Oh, I don't know. This year for sure. I'd like to think we played some other decent games here. But it was certainly this year it was the most complete game. I mean, Duke's a good football team. They were 7-4, and they've beaten some good football teams, and they're a very good team with an excellent quarterback and a good defense and lots of offensive skill. And I thought if we could get this game to the fourth quarter with a chance to win it, that we'd be. That was the goal. I never ever expected this.
I know in a 52-point win, it's hard to pinpoint one play, but the 3rd and 8 and the 15-yard touchdown to Greg for the second touchdown of the game looked like you guys, got in the turnover and then got stuffed on a couple runs. How important was it to get the 7 there instead of settling?
I mean, every time you get a turnover and you get in the red zone, you want to capitalize. So, I mean, there were so many big plays today. I mean, the pick 6 by Nasir, some of the sacks that we got on defense were encouraging. I mean, the 3rd down in the second half that we hit Greg Dortch on the wheel route. I mean, that was a huge play. Just my stomach in these games never gets settled. And once we got to the fourth quarter, I'm like, okay, 15 minutes, that's 900 seconds. And it just seemed like tick, tick, tick. And then probably enjoyed it at the end. It was neat to get Kendall in there and let him score in his hometown. Again, just really proud of our guys. We stepped up and probably played our best game of the year.
Defensively, how important was it to get pressure on Daniel Jones early? It seemed like Boogie Basham was a big part of that.
Well, it was really 2 things. When they get into their empty package, they get rid of the football really quickly. And, it was, you really can't sack them. And then, so what we were doing is doing a lot of drop 8 and hoping that we could force them to hold the ball, but now you're rushing with a 3-man rush. And they did some different things later, but, Boogie won some, Willie won some pass rush moves. We really didn't blitz at all. Jones is so good at seeing blitzes and getting rid of the football quickly, and, we wanted to keep things in front of us and then try to get them off schedule. And, I think their quarterback's hurt a little bit. It's, when he's 100% in full speed and can run, they're a much different offense. So he I think got hurt last week and then looked like he aggravated his ankle again. And when we saw him come out there the one time all taped up, we knew we were kind of going to be defending a different offense. That really took the quarterback run out of it, which is a big part of what they do.
Now got 27 wins as Wake Forest goes, fastest to get there, first one to get there in 5 years. What does that feel like for you?
Just proud of our team and our program. So, it's good company there with P-Head and Jim, Coach Grove. So it's a good group, and, it's like any coach now. We want to get 28.
With what you're building also, could you talk about how hard it is to win in the AC? It goes top to bottom, the conference area.
Every game, if you don't show up, you don't have a shot. I went through our losses this year, and 5 of the 6 losses were to teams that at one point were nationally ranked, and the 6th one was at Florida State. So you go through it, and we've played the number 2 team in the country, the number 3 team in the country. We've played the Coastal Division champions. We've lost to a 9-3 Syracuse team, a nationally ranked BC team. This league's a grind, and if we ever don't show up with more energy than our opponent, we don't have a shot. And today, I thought our energy level was great. Our kids played today like we really wanted to be here, and again, the big reward is to be able to spend another month together.
It looked like Jamie made a couple of those touchdown passes when they were blitzing. Was there something about his development there that made that happen?
Yeah, the one time they brought what we call a house blitz, that they were bringing one more than we could block, and he got rid of it quickly to Greg. That was the touchdown you were talking about. The third down, they brought the house, and he got rid of it before the add-on could get there, and we hit the little seam route when center field was open. And that was an ugly throw. It kind of came out funny, but he just had to get rid of it because we had a lot of space.
Coach, you had an embrace with Phil and Ryan on the field after I think the score was 52. What was that like that they now get a chance to play another game?
Well, the whole game, after every PAT field goal, I'm like, come on, keep going, don't let up, keep going, don't let up, we gotta keep going. So I came out there, I said, hey, go grab some water, you're done. And it's the guys that have been here 5 years. That's the neat thing about being able to be at a place and stay at a place for a long time, is that we brought those guys in here. We've seen their development from day one, and then to be able to finish with them, that's where you really get some of the great relationships in coaching. And those are two kids that have been through thick and thin with us. They're really good leaders. They're great kids. And it sounds corny and cheesy, but we do want to spend another month together. You don't want it to be over with. And we've never been in this situation. Every game like this that we've either been 3-8 and no shot of going to a bowl, or we had secured bowl eligibility. And Les pointed out we had never won our regular season finale. So thanks for pointing that out, Les. That was really good mojo to start the day. I appreciate that.
Anything I do now.
Yeah, it was. Thanks so much. So I told the team that.
Did you really?
In the beginning of the week. I said, guys, for whatever reason, we've never won the season finale. Twice 3-8, another time bowl eligibility. Twice teams that were needed to win to get to a bowl came in hungrier than us. We have to be the hungrier football team this week. And so that they knew it, and we knew it, very aware of it.
What did Ryan and Phil say when you told them to go get some water?
No, they just smiled.
Okay.
Because I came up with that same intensity in my eyes, like I was going to say the same thing, and just gave him a little hug, and again so that was a heck of an effort.
How important is getting that bowl eligibility on the season where you've had all these injuries and overcome all these obstacles, and the fact that you now get some more practices and get to work on your young team a little bit more?
Again, Les, after last year and even in preseason this year, that we want to become a program that even in our down years, we find a way to get to 6 or 7 and get to a bowl. We want going to bowls to be the expectation of the program. And so the 3 in a row and all that stuff is nice. That's not really the motivator. The motivator is for this team. Every team is different. Every year is unique. And if you told me in the preseason that we'd be 5-6 at game 12, I'd tell you I'd be disappointed in that. And then just how things unfolded, now it feels like a really rewarding year. To go on the road against NC State and find a way to get that one, and then on the road against Duke and find a way to get this one against two teams that had won a lot of football games. And so again, every year's different. And, in the context of this season, this was a really satisfying win and a satisfying year. Not because of 6-6, but because of what it took to get here. This was not an easy 6-6.
Greg was a little banged up during last week's game and this week, but he seemed to be pretty close to 100%, right?
Yeah, Craig George at 90% is still a really good player. So he did very little in practice. Tuesday, Wednesday, did a little bit Thursday, and I didn't know how today would go. It wouldn't have shocked me after the first series if he says I don't feel it, but he's such a competitor and he's a quick healer, and he's a competitor now. He's a good football player.
What about Kate Carney's performance? Does he just like playing at Duke because he had a big game 2 years ago here too?
I just think sometimes he knew Matt Colburn was out, and I think sometimes when a back says, hey, I'm carrying the load today, they love it. Matt Colburn loved it last year when he was the only back. And I was like, Coach, I don't like it because something happens to them. And then Christian Beal got banged up and didn't play the second half. And, you know, so, and Matt's the same way. Those guys are workhorses. I think they get better with more carries. And it was, you know, they just get a feel for things. So this year, for the most part, we've been able to keep those guys healthy, except the last 2 weeks. And today was Cage Day, but certainly Matt would have been capable of doing it, or Christian was capable of doing it. But Cage's running style, and Duke was banged up. And so it was very purposely that we wanted to come in here and try to run the ball and be physical. And when we were playing that type of game, Cage's really effective.
Touch on this earlier. What do you think it meant for Kendall, given how his year started, what he's gone throughout the season?
I told Warren, I said, hey, if we get close, I'd love Kendall, being from Durham, to finish his regular season getting in there. And so it worked out. So I think it means a lot. And you know, I told him, I said, hey, if we get close now, I go, we're going to try to get you some love in your home city. And then afterwards, like, he went up and hugged everybody but me. And I'm like,